Hey gang, Anthony Orlando here. Joining me today is writer and director Alex Ullom, creator of the new neon horror thriller It Ends. Alex, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, of course. What's up, man?
Not much. It's just I'm really excited to talk about this film. It Ends. Tell us what was your inspiration about this story?
Probably my absolutely brutal transition into adulthood and trying to, you know, survive that with a group of friends, I guess. I mean, inspirational wise. I mean, I've always pictured it as like if Linklater made a horror movie, so like he's up there for inspiration. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that really came across with the story. I mean, like it showed like all these four friends just like growing apart. Like as one of them tries like to move away, they all just get caught up like in this never-ending road. I mean, like that's such a pretty like a wild like but like really clever idea. I mean, like how did you like decide like to go for like the endless road trip sort of thing?
How did I decide to go for the endless? I think liminal spaces right now are almost a sense of comfort for people my age because we've been in this transitionary like I think a lot of the tent poles of structure that used to exist for us, whether it was like a family or buying a home or whatever, don't exist. And being just in perpetual motion is kind of the closest thing I could say to what it feels like to be an adult. I'm still like taking in being an adult. I feel like I just came of age, so it's like, what the fuck do I know? But yeah.
Yeah, you and me both. And I really felt like that's a liminal horror like has become like really big lately. I mean, you're seeing movies like Backrooms and Exit 8, which like I really felt was that this movie was basically like a road trip version of that. And so I was wondering if you could like tell us like what like in your perspective like exactly is the road? I mean, like it's people suspect it's like hell or
Oh, come on,
purgatory or
man.
something.
I can't tell you that. That would ruin everything.
Yeah, I mean, like I know it's like you leave it like up to the imagination, the story, but like you can't. I mean, oh, at least I tried, you know.
Yeah, of course. I will tell you I know, and I don't know how to hint at it. It's like also it's not like it's an IP or anything or anyone's like digging into it, but like yeah, there is a let's just say that like the beliefs that the characters have affect their, you know, and I'm not going to go in any deeper, yeah.
Right. I mean, so. I mean, like, in your opinion, like, do you think you'd last on the road for as long as like the f final character James? I mean, like some of the characters like stay in the car, like some of them don't, but in the end, spoiler alert, he's like the only one like to really make it to the end. So, I mean, how long do you think he would make it there?
I think my younger self would do exactly what James did. But me now, I would just follow wherever my whoever I was trapped on the road with goes. So it would depend on the whole party. It would be like if we want to keep exploring or not. But or when I was younger, I definitely would have made it to the end of the road. I would have, I mean, yeah, I could have not existentially processed anything going on. I would have been flipping out. I would have been James. I guess I
Yeah, I
was.
mean, he's really got like that sense of youthful ambition in the story. Like, yeah, he has plans for his life and he wants to get out. But like at the end, like he's just really giving like the punchline to like a really sick joke, and
Yeah.
it seems like in the end he's just like gonna go back and reunite with his friends. I mean, like, I mean, do you really think that they'll like find some sort of like happiness like on that
Yes.
road?
Yeah,
I mean,
I think
yeah.
they will. I'd like to believe that. I'll figure it out when I do the sequel and do it begins in 15 years or whatever, and it's my before sunrise type thing.
All right, cool. Looking forward to it. And all in all, what was the production like for this movie? I mean, was it a particularly challenging one, or like did everything like go smoothly?
I'm trying to like it took 6 years and it was like a messy scrap in the mud. That's what I would say. But
Really?
the movie is fully held up by its performances and the loving community around it. But like the actual production process was hell. We had no money and it was just like every step of the way was a challenge. Yeah.
Filming itself, like it took place over the course of 6 years, or it just like took like a lot of time to get it off the
Pre-pro,
ground.
pre-pro is like probably was, 2.5. And then it was, yeah, production was pretty much over the course of 3 years. We like reshot the movie twice.
Wow. I mean, like, is there like a lot of like footage that didn't make the final cut, or?
There used to be like a full 8-minute sequence where the characters just talked about the Russian brick video. Like that is all, yeah, there used to be a lot more hangout stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it really felt like they built like their own sort of like a chill like hangout inside that car. Like it felt like it felt
Yeah,
like really like a Lord of the Flies-esque in that sense, but just like not as bloody or anything.
yeah, definitely. I would have liked it to
And
be more bloody, but
yeah, I mean, like, but like I say, like the probably like the bloodiest part like of the movie was like in the opening scene where all those people just came like rushing in. Like, I mean, that was like the biggest like hook of the story. I mean, it just
Mhm.
like blew me away.
Thank you, Andrew.
And yeah, so I mean, but another like one of the most surprising parts of the film was like when it just started raining on the road. I mean, like it wasn't particularly like as scary. It's just like really surprising. I mean, like it didn't rain like any other day like throughout the story. I mean, why did it happen then? I mean, like what was like the meaning behind it?
I still want to give away, I don't want to fully give away how the stuff works, but like basically there's a level of immaterialism on the road, is what I would say. And there's a level of like subjectivism, and you're, I don't want to like fully, I just think that your consciousness, let's just say the road is moving you towards a place, and your specific emotional conscious processing of that has an effect on it.
Right.
Spoiler.
So, all in all, like, why should people go out and see this film? I mean, like, what are you like hoping that they'll get out of it?
I think there's two people specifically that I really like. I had a really hard time, like a lot of, I was someone that struggled with adolescent and I guess potentially adult, you're not really, depression, fuck it. And I think that I get a lot of messages from people that messages this film really either help them or not. I think that I would love for anyone who's like, I made this for I quote unquote, like anyone who's ever grown up before and like gone through something that they didn't really have an answer for and needed to emotionally process and come to peace with. And that was something that I was going through. And then I think the second half of people that I want is any young filmmaker to see it. Like, and when I saw like Slacker for the first time, and you're just like, oh, I could do this. Like, I just need to get my friends and like four faces and a camera. Like, I want it to be, I would hope that this movie lives as a bit of an inspirational piece for other people to be like, oh man, like they really just went out and made a movie and now it's going to movie theaters. Like, that makes no sense to me. Like, I was ready to upload the damn film on YouTube. Like, yeah, I hope it lives for a beacon of both of those things. But like also I hope it just like dream scenario, people watch it, step out of the theater and start arguing with their friends about what the movie means. Like that's what I'm looking for.
Oh, awesome. I mean, on that note, I mean, like, did you like ever expect the movie to get a theatrical release? I mean,
No. Fuck
no.
no. Fuck no.
Or and
It was a
now
hope. It was a hope.
it was a hope, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, like that's like where like a lot of filmmakers will like to go with their projects. And now, I mean, like after like working with Neon, like you already have like another project lined up with them. Could you tell us more about it?
Dude, we actually wrapped like 2 days ago. So we were um I would say that it's pure maximalism and it's the opposite of it ends. And it is probably the bloodiest, goriest thing that still like cares about it's a I want to do the exact opposite of if it ends as a decline, this is a massive, massive incline to a point where like you have to like you need you physically or need to look away. Like I'm gonna put like a legal disclaimer in the movie about like the level of auditory and, physical overload. I don't know. It's gonna go crazy. That's all I'd say. And I'm also
Well,
making it as a 28-year-old and not like, I was very well supported and knock on wood, hopefully don't have to go reshoot stuff. But
all right. I mean, like yeah, now I'm like re really excited like to see that. I mean, like if it's as like wild as you say, I mean, like I think it's gonna be like I think it's gonna be a hit. So thank you
yeah,
for sharing that. Like, is there anything else you want to say to the fans?
I appreciate anyone who has ever watched this movie ever. And I could have never expected that we got here, so I'm just grateful. That's all. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. All right, it was such a pleasure meeting you again. Thank you for talking with me like about this film. It ends comes out later this week, so be sure to set your calendars for it. Alex, take care. Hope you have a great career.
Thank you, Anthony. You too. Appreciate it.